I've been thinking and observing the global context that defines the world of the living, where souls are incarnated into physical bodies and experience existing only within the narrow band of perception their biology gives them, and the way they limitedly communicate and share that material world with other souls that are too experiencing everything through similar reduced or restricted biological perception. They form a distorted and limited group of ideas and concepts that define the universe and existence as a whole, ideas and concepts that ultimately form what we now call a matrix. Most people think of Earth and all that is going on inside, and how it is being controlled and guided, as the matrix, but the one on Earth is not the only one that exists, because we could easily argue that there is one matrix for every culture and every planet in space, and the universe. In the same way, we could also define a matrix as the ideas and rules that are created from them, and each subculture in each planet naturally has. For example, the whole social and cultural dynamics in Tibet differ enough from Western society to be classified as being inside their submatrix, although obviously, they would have many characteristics in common. From the wider perspective of countless races, species, and their cultures all over the universe, and also noticing that many of them are united, or at least in communication because of the Galactic Federation, among other reasons, we can see that there is a larger, more expanded matrix that encloses all those cultures, including Earth's, into one large supermatrix. And that supermatrix I'm talking about here only refers to the physical side of it. But when we start to include the astral realms and a lot of the information that we have at our disposal concerning how souls see life in the physical matrix, there is something that I see coming up as an interesting constant. All souls, while in the spirit world, in the astral realms, never take life in the physical too seriously. They don't take being in a live body as reality, they only appreciate the enormous expansion of consciousness that it offers them, but all the data coming from multiple sources always points to the fact that souls see incarnations as an amusement park leaning, or designed towards learning. Like a fun school, where everything that occurs there is only a simulation and a game, as I described in detail in my video titled, Same Events, Different Meanings, Physical or Spiritual Side. Link in your screen now. I find this observation very important, because while in the physical we are all very dramatic and prone to suffering a lot when from the more expanded point of view, nothing bad is going on. This change in perception between how the spirit and the material side view and interpret the same events has caused a lot of reactions of all kinds, debates, and also many feelings of despair, as many of us living inside a physical body feel that it is very unfair for our suffering to be taken so lightly from everyone in the spirit side, including the more expanded versions of ourselves there, that are also called our spirit guides. This also causes us to strongly consider the existence of a much darker side of the spirit world, and we tend to call that negative side, the lower astral. But observing the best data we have at our disposal, the lower astral exists only as the result of the manifestations of the greatest fears of sentient souls, the direct manifestation of their unconscious shadow. As Carl Jung said, until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. But as souls in the higher astral realms are basically also positive and loving, as our data dictates, and knowing that everything that exists is the result of the manifestation power of consciousness, and of what it is focusing its attention on, then I rhetorically ask, what is then manifesting those ugly lower astral realms? In my opinion, it is being manifested by the subconscious mind of the living, as a second-hand realm that can only exist when at least one sentient soul is giving it creative attention, intentionally or not, but mostly it is being created by the collective unconscious of a group of people with souls living within a set group of accepted perception agreements, and not as a direct creation or manifestation from Source. As I've said before, in the end, everything is Source, and that would include the lower astral and everything in it, but it is created by a consciousness or a group consciousness that is encased in a limited set of perceptions and belief systems that derive from those limited perceptions. I mean that the lower astral realms are being manifested by the souls that are in the world of the living, and inhabiting a physical body. The formation of the lower astral is coming directly from the darkest shadows of the collective unconscious. It is their dark mirror. As described before, a dark entity from the lower astral feeds off the creative attention of someone with a soul, because it can only be manifested by someone with a strong and direct connection with the Source. And that person's creative attention is concentrated towards feeding the dark entity using fear, as it removes all distractions from the creator being, making it manifest whatever has most, or all its attention, in this case, the dark entity itself. The lower astral is the result of having creative souls manifest it, as the result of their unconscious shadows, and that in turn derives from the traumatic and limited experience of an incarnation into a physical body. As an egregore. And this is why souls are so happy while they are in the higher astral planes where everything is love and integration, as there are no shadow manifestations of their unconscious, or hardly any. Although the world of the living could be precisely that. It could be the unconscious shadow manifestation of the higher realms of existence. After all, while duality exists, if there is a higher something, then there must be a lower, to define one another. What defines a collective unconscious according to Carl Jung are primordial images that reflect basic patterns that are common to us all, and which have existed universally since the dawn of time. Adding to this, I see it as the collective set of ideas and agreements, both conscious and unconscious, of a group of people, or souls, that share a realm of existence, or a matrix. And they communicate with one another, sharing those concepts and agreements as the result of social interaction, using spoken and written language, but mostly communicating in a subconscious manner using the etheric field that unites them all, and in a purely telepathic way. All creatures with a soul have a strong connection to Source, because, in the end, it is the same. Having a connection to Source is having a soul, because a soul is Source itself. And we mustn't take life's hardships so dramatically, as everything, in the end, is not that serious, thinking like a light being. And if we do, we shouldn't bash ourselves for suffering, because after all we are in the world of the living to learn from that and to control it. There is no use in worrying about things that haven't yet come to pass, and most probably never will. And it is much less probable that they would happen if we don't focus our creative attention on them, and we maintain a high vibration, living and enjoying the simplest of things, as the most meaningful in our lives. All this makes us see and understand how important it is to watch what we are thinking, our vibration and frequency, as we must also look inwards, into our darkest shadows, to take control over what we manifest in our lives. As Carl Jung said, whoever looks outside dreams, and whoever looks inside awakens. Powerful words they are. Take care, my friends, and thank you for watching my video. I hope to see you here next time.